All right, fam, so this video, we gonna be measuring to make sure our TVs are gonna be centered. Then we'll make sure where we want the TV to, the top of the TV and the bottom of the TV to be. And then you'll see us drill out the holes and all of that, and then tidy up the wires and everything before we put the TV up here. So that's what's going on this video. So since we want to hide all these wires, all these cable wires, all these electrical wires, all this stuff needs to be behind the television. It takes a little bit of preparation to make things turn out that way. So since we don't have enough electrical plugs back here, we only have 2 outlets, we got to create enough power behind here to hook everything up that we need behind the TV. Because we got a switch. Then we also gonna have the TV's gonna be plugged in and the soundbar. So if I had one of those 3-pronged electrical outlets, I would just stick it in there and then I'd have enough, but I don't have one, so I have to use a power strip, which is perfectly fine. It's just bigger than I would have liked for it to be behind this TV, but always you're gonna use what you got. One thing that you don't wanna have to keep doing is going back and forth to the store for stuff. It's too time consuming to have to keep running back and forth to the store, so my motto is figure it out. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Figure it out. All right, so hold on. Before we put that up there, we need to know exactly where we're gonna put that. So here, we're gonna take the measurement right quick.
I think we're going to have
Tape, okay. Tape measure.
It's right.
Oh yeah. All right. My little trusty tape measure. So my TV, I'm off camera now, but my TV is 34 inches long, tall, if you will. With the soundbar, it is about 36 and a half inches tall. So I'm going to take that measurement to where it connects to the mount at about 15 and a half inches. And I'll transfer that to the wall. So in doing so, 15 and a half inches is about right there. So in actuality, if I was to set my mount right here, like this, up underneath this plug, the bottom of my soundbar would be exactly where I want it. Because I don't want to have a lot of space between the top of this cabinet and the bottom of the soundbar. So I'm thinking that that's going to be pretty much perfect. In other words, our mount will sit somewhere, once we find the center, somewhere right here like this. So I believe that's my center there. I'll double check that. And then that way the TV will sit right there. It'll cover all this up. And then I'll have the space that I want at the bottom of the TV. It'll be a nice, sleek look. So right now, what Reggie and I'll do is we'll make sure that is the center, which I believe it is. So we hold that right there from the lens. 118.
59.
Go
On the end right here.
59. Yeah, that's my center right there. Alright, good deal. So since I now know that's my center, we'll set this bad boy up here. I'll give a little bit of room between the bottom of the plates. And then I'll put my level on here, because I don't trust these levels. And we'll mark the wall. Give me a blue, give me a red marker right there. We're gonna mark new holes. Now, all of these holes, previous holes, will be covered up by the TV. Making sure you stay in the center, but you can make a little bit of adjustment as you go. You don't want to be off by a lot. You don't want to be your TV to be crooked. Then you have to use shims to get everything. So those are the holes I'm going to drill. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll reuse these same concrete screws. So, let me move some of these things here. Now that I know that I can be on the outside of this, let's see. Let me put this back up here for a second so I can see exactly how far I need to be to the outside, which I could just sit it right there. It don't have to be down so far. I can even sit it right here. Good deal. All right, I just want to know where I can put my power plug, because now I know I can put it right here somewhere if I want to. Let's see how I want to. Wish I could run it around again. It ain't long enough. But I probably need to take it all the way around like that. And come back up like that. That's how I'm gonna do it. I think I can make that work there. Yeah, make that work just like that. So see that? Push that down so that I can take that down there. Good deal. Everything fits. Right. Now we can plug our TV, soundboard, all that stuff in right there. We got our HDMI cable that's going down there. That's cool. And then one of these is for the TV, the other one is for what has been for the Roku, the Roku or something like that. Yeah. So now we can just go and drill these out. Put this back. And right there. No, I'm good. So I'm the type of person that I like to keep all my stuff together. I've left a whole lot of tools at customers' houses. So I've learned, more recently than not, to be honest with you too, always keep your things together and put them away when you're not using them. That way you don't have a lot of cleanup at the end, and you ain't just walking around looking for your stuff. If I'm not using something, or I'm not gonna use it anymore, then I'll just put it away. I don't think we'll be using that no more. We won't need that. Alright, so respecting the customers' property is one of my main goals. Is I don't want to have a whole bunch of mess places, and I don't want to damage any of their furniture. So I always cover things before I start drilling or setting tools down and all that, because you're scratching up the things. It's just not a good look. All right, so we're gonna drill these holes out. This is a 3/16 masonry bit. These are regular, they call them top-com screws. With, I believe it's a 3/8 head on these. So I have 4 holes to drill. This is pretty soft brick, as you'll see. But what you'll notice is if you have a bad bit, it'll take you longer to drill it into the concrete than you normally would if you have a good, new, uncompromised bit. So always keep extra drill bits in your toolbox. So here we go. You hold it to the side. So you want to keep yourself level. You don't want to be drilling a hole up, down, side, side. Try to stay as level as you can when you start drilling. See, as you can see, this is really soft brick. So we got one drilled. We'll drill this top one. I normally go side to side, but you can do this however you want. All right, now move on that side. See, as you can see, this creates a lot of dust and debris. So if you're drilling this onto a wood floor or something like that, you can possibly damage with those hard abrasive particles coming off, can scratch the customer's floor. So always cover everything up. So what that is my drill bit is trying to come off. It wasn't tight enough. So I tried to adjust it in the wall. It wasn't letting me. So. What's going on with you? As you're pulling out, you're cleaning out the hole. So keep drilling as you're coming out so you can get the debris out. All right, so we've got these holes drilled. Now to get maximum, not adhesion, but to get the tightest possible connection from in the wall, sometimes these screws, if in brick or concrete, I don't really see that with stone because stone is natural and it's packed. Concrete and brick, of course, are man-made products. So when you're using these concrete or masonry screws, sometimes when you're screwing them in, it don't seem like you're getting a real tight connection. So a trick that I use is I cut a zip tie piece and put it in each hole so it gives it something to expand into. You let that go, man. There you go. All right, so you get your cutters, you put you a piece of in the wall. It don't matter that it's longer. Don't even worry about that. Cut it off. Stick it in there as far as it'll go, then cut it off at the base. Sometimes, depending on how big the hole is, you may need to put 2 of these in there. With this, I don't think that's necessary. We'll see as we start screwing these in. All right. So yeah, this is a 5/16. So 5/16. Alright. So as even when you're doing this on wood studs, you should always be keeping your level, even if it has a built-in level. I just don't trust that. So I'm putting this back centered like it's supposed to be. My center is about right there. And then I put one screw in. I tighten up that one screw, whatever. And you'll be able to tell the resistance as the screw is going in, or whether or not you're going to need to add a little bit more into the hole. That felt really, really tight and good, so I didn't need to put anything extra in there. So after you get your first screw in, now you want to start making sure that you're staying level as you're screwing the other screws in. Even if you need to unloosen this one, then go ahead and do it. But I always do things in a cross pattern. In the construction field, that's how we were taught to do things. So I can already tell that I'm going to loosen that up because I can see how the bottom one is. So I'm going to just do this one here. Keep it where it needs to be. And it looks about right there. Now these are very powerful tools. And it's very easy to over torque these in the wall and break them. And then you'll have to make a whole new hole because you can't get this out of the wall. Probably can with a different kind of tool, but I mean, it's just simpler and easier to go ahead and re-drill another hole because you got multiple spots that you can put it in. It just looks, from a customer looking at your standpoint, and you keep breaking these things because you're using too much power. So as you get down and you start hearing da-da-da-da, stop. It's tight enough, trust me. Let's see. There we go. So I'll tighten this one back now. And now we'll do the other two. Once you hear that, go ahead and stop. It ain't going nowhere. There we go. Good. If you do too many of them, it's gonna snap, and you're gonna be like, oh man, and you gotta re-drill another hole. Alright. So here's where I start getting a little creative with my wires, making sure that when I hang this TV up here, because I'm keeping in mind where the brackets are going to go on the mount, and they'll probably be somewhere about right here and right here. So I don't want any obstructions when I set this mount down. I mean, when I set the TV down on the mount. All right, so looking at my, I'm pretty good here. I'm pretty good. I'm relatively good. So we're gonna have a little bit of wiggle room in the mount itself when we put it up here. All right. So this is no longer necessary. Drilling is done. This is no longer necessary. So you put your stuff away. We'll probably keep the tape measure just in case we need to make something centered or something. For the most part, we don't need that anymore. Now each one of these is rated to hold 80 pounds. So when you add all four of them together, what's that, 320 pounds. You can actually physically do pull-ups on this. And I do them when I use them on full motion mounts. I always hang on it and do tricks. All right. So that's the end of that video. Making sure that you're centered, making sure that you got your, you have created the spots on the wall from your mount and their level where you're going to drill, and you drilled it out, made sure that you had a good drill bit so you're not sitting there all day trying to drill one hole, which I've done many times. Making sure that no obstructions are around if you got wiring and stuff to take a, you know, to hide, of course. So we'll come back now with another video. We'll put the TV up here, we'll hook everything up, and then we'll tidy up the power cords and all of that stuff behind the TV. All right.